is it going, guys? It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, I've been a little bit quiet while we are in lockdown here in New Zealand, but it doesn't mean I haven't been trading. I've actually been trading quite well, locking in 30, 50, sometimes more points a day, as the ES just stays volatile. And as you guys know, I'm not really, like in these times, I'm not really trading individual stocks as much because you know, like the VX is still insanely high, and while it looks like a, you know, like a kind of a that kind of bouncing ball kind of analogy kind of pattern where I guess volatility is slowly coming off, it's still you know, the last time we've seen something like this was like this prolonged, this high is 2008, 2009. So I think it's going to take quite a while for us to come back to normal values, and I am still of the opinion that we are not done with this bear market / recession, whatever we want to call it, just yet. It's just that right now we are just tracing, like as Nikki also said before. I'm sure there's some short squeezing in here going on as well, and you know, like retail investors buying the dip, all that kind of stuff. But in general, what I think, just, you know, like from my limited kind of fundamental point of view, is that a lot of stuff is just frozen right now. Nothing's moving. But once we come out of these lockdowns, we will see the businesses that have closed and all the people that have lost their jobs and stuff. Is just like the virus itself. I think this has kind of a bit of a lag period, and that's what I don't see reflected in the market just yet. So I am definitely expecting another downturn, mid to long term, in this market. I really don't think this is over. But what do I know? Right now, at least, when we look at the SPX and the expected move for the week, we've opened right in between, you know, right nice in the middle, and we've chopped around today, apart from the craziness at the open. And when we look at the codes, this is actually a perfect long setup. So shorter term, I think we could even be, you know, like we could, you know, head a little bit higher into the like 2900 area SPX, which is probably around the same area in ES. And the higher levels here in ES is definitely also like the what do we have here? 2850. Let's look at here. We got 2877, and then like 2950 kind of area as well, where there are you know, like higher time frame kind of levels to observe. And we look at the daily, we also have like this gap to fill here, so I would not be surprised if we actually went there before we turn back down. And you know, I know it's the 50% mark and all that stuff from the sell-off, but volatility is insane, so a little bit of overshooting and stuff like that, I would not be surprised if that was just what it does. And we look at, you know, I've seen people talk about, you know, like bear market rallies, and there were bear market rallies that retraced over, you know, like 50% before they went back down and headed lower. So unless we see the highs again, I'm going to remain bearish on this. But maybe that's also just my instinct, so take it with that grain of salt. Gold is running, and that is actually beautiful. As I told you guys, like I did not expect this breakout to hold and keep going straight away, so we got a bit of a retrace, less than I thought. I only added in just tiny. I would have wanted like the 14 MA to retest and at least like the 1660 kind of area. But hey, we take what we get, and now my target is the 1800. That's where I'll take a lot, if not all, of my position off for now, and I think this is likely going to chop around for a little bit after a move like this, and we are going to try to reload when we get the opportunity again. Now, because you guys like trading in, individual stocks as well, I have still put together a bit of a list, stuff that I see for both sides, but like nothing that there's not much that I would be trading myself. I had a little bit of Tesla long, but that's stock that I bought on the big ass dip into the 200 somewhere here. That's what I bought, just like 5 shares, that's all, and I will be looking to sell that shortly, at least parts of it, but like stuff like that, it pays off once in a while, but that's not like a strategy that I trade very often. But in general, when the market's so volatile and so liquid, I'm not looking at individual stocks too much. If you see like orders or stuff like that, that's just like, this is my tryout stuff account, so don't be like, that's why you see like when I'm laying out orders to see if something like that could work. It's just to test strategies and ideas and stuff like that. So Zoom, I think I said here it might give us an opportunity to buy the dip, and then it had the news about the security leaks and stuff like that. So I think the dip went a little bit lower than all of us expected, but it made a higher low. So now what we want to see is a hold of that middle celt, a hold of that breakout level here at 130, 131, then a move into the upper celt, and then perhaps another dip, and then hopefully like a hold of 140, and then break of the trend line and higher. I still am quite bullish on this one. I think this is one of the stocks that is definitely gonna gain immensely, more than it's already gained from this whole crisis, and they will fix their issues, and eventually that's gonna be fixed, and then they're the market leader. Twitter is in this range, chopping back and forth here in this channel, rejected the upper celt. Now we are holding the 26, which was kind of a resistance level here that we came out of. We've had that typical close over the 14, run into the 30 kind of trade going on here. Now if you want to trade this, trade just the range, you can either wait for the middle celt or the lower end of this channel to get long again, or if we hold here when we close over the upper celt, you would probably want to look the next day or a few days after for a retracement into the upper celt for a long, and then this could break out of this channel. Roku I quite like for a long as well, because this has tested right that 100 as I called out back then for the short, and now it's coming back. Beautiful short, by the way. Now it's coming back into the 100, and this time it might go. Like this is another one of those stocks that I think might profit from this whole crisis. So we have, and now we actually have like more indicators actually that are helping it. So we have not just the 100 level, but we also have the upper celt now that would be support if it breaks over and holds. So break over, retrace into the upper celt, and then go. Definitely interesting. Netflix. I don't know what the news was today. I saw Amazon was going crazy as well. Let's look real quick. video streaming demand spikes. Oh yeah, I mean, duh. Of course. So this is a beauty, and we look at the higher time frames, and this is now like say if this can retest the weekly upper celt and hold, boy, that is gonna see new highs or previous highs at 420, and likely even new highs, because another this, you know, it's just like Roku, they are doing well in this environment. Next one, eBay. This is one that has popped up on like a mean reversion scan that I have, and I like it as a very short-term short, because it is coming into this resistance, like from this consolidation here. If it keeps going, I would put on like a second lot into like this kind of level at 35, 36, and then short the retrace into the upper celt, where you can then go long again for the actual upper celt setup, for higher highs. EA gaming doing well, popped up on my upper celt scanner. There is today I feel like they've seen like two kinds of stock or upper celt kind of closes. One is the Netflix and Amazons where it's just rocking and rocketing through the whole thing, or then there's the other ones where it just barely closes over. So with this one, you really want to wait for a retrace into the upper celt before you take a long here. It's looking good, but say like what I would hope for is a gap up into say 110, something like that, then a retrace intraday into the upper celt. Say that would probably be like 109, 108 tomorrow. That's where I would take the long for a, you know, like 112 kind of target, like this kind of level here, also here. That's my thoughts here. Beyond, same setup here, but what we have here is also that 77 and 79 kind of level. That's resistance. So again, we get through that, I would probably, you know, like gone for the gap close, and then, you know, like we have we got the 100 level probably next. That would be interesting. Amazon, same thing as Netflix. What was the news here? Start of earnings season, battering results. I don't know. I mean, I guess online shopping is interesting right now. So I mean, again, duh. It's funny. I had this one on the list yesterday that I wanted to do for you guys, but I just didn't get to it. Look, just to prove it. Here. That was my list yesterday. Because like it closed over, barely closed over again, then you got the like it here confirmed, here we got the retrace, and today it freaking goes. So I mean, there's nothing you can do with this one here, but I find it very interesting that just the way this set up, this is another way this can set up, you know, like it's not sure whether it wants to hold that upper celt, even though it's broken out of a resistance area. So it, you know, it chops for a few days and then it goes. And this one was big, and this was a big one. So yeah, very interesting. Nothing to trade right here. What you probably want to look for in this one is a retrace into either the upper celt or the 14 for the next long. I mean, you know, like this would almost have been, you know, like worth a overnight short into these all-time highs. With, you know, like with everything that's going on, just playing the volatility might have been an idea here, but that's a risky one, and would not recommend it for everyone. But I could have totally imagined, you know, just taking the overnight short here and then flipping back long in the next few days. AMD. I know if you guys are trading this. Again, you know, like I remember some people were getting short here. I'm glad Money Moves was hedging his short that he took and is now taking, you know, like making nice profits here as it goes. And as I said, you know, like before even thinking about the short, we need to get into a resistance area. So here, but this wants to go higher. It's also, you know, like what I also mentioned is the relative strength compared to the market. You know, like a sell-off was compared to the market was way less, you know, like directional and way more, like much more subdued in that sense, and recovered much faster, much more distinctively. So now that we are over that upper celt, over the 50, hope for a retrace back into the 50 tomorrow or in the next few days, and then, you know, 53 target, and then the highs. This one is very interesting, I think, especially, you know, like with the short-term bullishness in the market as well. And last one, Adobe. This one is now back over the 200 SMA, back over the middle cap, at over the 30, and has like this fairly big resistance area ahead of it at 326, 323. And I think when we get through this, you could play it similar to like a Celt setup where it gets over, it retraces back into it. That's where you take the long for it to go higher. So these are my thoughts. I'm definitely going to try to be more regular again, as I say every week. It's just, you know, it's a special situation for everyone. But good collaboration in chat from what I see. I'm going to try to comment overnight as well. If you guys have any comments about the watch list, any questions, I know there's always someone, or you know, like looking for videos or some instruction. Don't fret, just message me. I am available. I am really close to starting to roll out the options beginner series as well for you guys. So stay tuned. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the video. And if you want to join us, the Discord link is in the description. We've had a few new people, and I hope you guys like it. And if not, I'm sorry. So that's it, guys. I hope I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Until then, have a good one.